What's up, YouTube? It's Big Fish here with another reaction video. Today, Zelensky, 2 days ago, I would say, 2 days ago, Zelensky signed a controversial bill that his people did not like. So let's take a little deep dive into see what it was.
Now to developments out of Ukraine. The country is seeing its first major anti-government demonstrations since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion more than 3 years ago. Now, these protests started after lawmakers in Kyiv approved a bill that critics say weakens the independence of Ukraine's anti-corruption agencies. For more on this, let's speak now with CBS News foreign correspondent Remy Inocencio.
There were times that Trump said Zelensky was a dictator. It can't be proven, but with this bill being signed, I don't know. Kind of looking like he could possibly be one. And also, there were videos showing that they were kidnapping civilians so they could fight this war.
Remy, what more do we know about these amendments and this visceral reaction in Ukraine?
Errol, yes, good morning. Absolutely visceral here. Protests of outrage that we're seeing have popped up across Ukraine, from Kyiv, the capital, to Lviv in the west, Dnipro in the east, and Odessa in the south.
Wow.
Thousands of people have been demanding that Volodymyr Zelensky veto that law, but now we know that he did, in fact, sign it. He signed it quietly last night, and after it had been fast-tracked, in fact, through Parliament, the Rada. Now, this means that Ukraine's equivalent of its attorney general, they call it the prosecutor, has more control over not one, but two anti-corruption agencies. And these really are agencies, you got to understand, are historically fiercely independent and regardless of political party. For example, just back in April, there was one former politician from Zelensky's administration who was charged with money laundering and also with accepting a bribe, Some critics allege that this bill, though, is political retribution. The EU is also watching.
Can we say Trump is right? Because everything that these reporters are saying sound a little dirty. Money laundering? But you're in government. What are you doing? Bribes? Huh? What are we doing out here? Zelensky wants an actor. Always an actor.
The bloc's commissioner, who's in charge of the expansion of this bloc, and reminder, Ukraine does want to join the EU, said that it was a serious step back. They said that it's important because fighting corruption is crucial for Ukraine to join that bloc.
Well, we're expecting Ukraine and Russia to hold another round of peace talks in Turkey this week. Where does all that stand?
Right. Don't hold your breath, apparently, Errol. Volodymyr Zelensky on Monday said that talks were scheduled for today. We are still waiting for confirmation on whether those talks will actually happen. Yesterday, the Kremlin did pour cold water on any expectations if those talks happen. That came from Dmitry Peskov. He's a spokesperson, saying that Moscow did not expect, his words, a miraculous breakthrough, and that the two sides were basically opposed to each other. We know Russia wants Ukraine to give up territory that Russia controls. It wants Ukraine to give up its ambitions for the EU and for NATO, as we just talked about, and then also wants Ukraine to downsize its military. But we're seeing that if there's any movement, it might be in the area of prisoner or hostage swaps.
This is wild. Although Russia started this, they were once a part of the Soviet Union. It was all Russia once upon a time, and then they got their independence. Ukraine did and had their own little thing. I understand both sides. I understand wanting to have your own sovereign country and having your own thing, but I understand Russia's side. I want all this country back. I want us to be united and be one again. But at the same time, once they're united, what is Russia going to do? They're just going to start spreading their influence into Europe and start trying to take their territory over. So, man, it is really a conflicting situation. And if they downsize their military, Ukraine, all that gives Russia time to do is rebuild and come back and start another wave. Man, it's tough out there for them. And then, Russia's right up there by Canada. So Russia can come down through Canada, come through, F us up if they, well, not F us up, sorry. Oh, wait a minute. Camera went down. Let's fix this. But they're not going to F us up. We know, us and Russia, we got two of the biggest armies, China as well. But I don't see them over here trying to mess with us and trying to start problems. This is crazy. But it's looking kind of dirty over there. And I was doing a little bit of research, and I found this little segment on BBC. Let's get a quick read real quick. President Zelensky has signed a bill that critics say weakens the independence of Ukraine's anti-corruption body, sparking protests in several cities and drawing international criticism. The new law grants the prosecutor general control of the National Anti-Corruption Bureau and Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office, and critics say it undermines their authority. It does. It's dirty. It's all dirty. In an address on Wednesday, Zelensky said both agencies would still work but needed to be cleared of Russian influence. Okay, Zelensky. After the bill passed, hundreds of people gathered in Kyiv for the biggest anti-government protest since the state of Russia's full-scale invasion in February of 2022. Demonstrations were also seen in the cities of Lviv, Dnipro, and Odessa. I probably butchered one of those three. We chose Europe, not autocracy. Probably butchered that word as well. Said a protester held by a demonstrator. My father did not die for this, said another. So let's go read what autocracy is, relating to a ruler who has absolute power. That sounds like a dictator to me. So I guess Trump wasn't lying about what he said when he said this man might just be a dictator. Did you see that? An absolute power. Absolute power. Man, that's dirty. Nasty work, Zelensky. All right. Now for our second video. I talked about this 2 days ago. This is the nice little scam that Gavin Newsom has been hiding. Yeah, it's not been hidden, but it's been going on for way too long. It's been going on for 18 years now. We're in 2026. 2008, this train system that's supposed to have been getting built to San Francisco and through one other spot going from Los Angeles, and it's just not been happening. So let's hear what Fox has to say about this.
The Trump administration officially pulling the plug on California's Train to Nowhere, terminating $4 billion in federal funds for the high-speed rail project. That never.
Although they're revoking the funds from the federal funds, they still could use the state taxpayers' dollars to try to fund this railroad dollar and still steal money out of y'all pockets. So California, go red.
Materialized. Our very own Max Gordon is in D.C. with the details. Max, my first vote when I was 18 was voting for this, and it's a disaster.
Yep, back in 2008, that's when Californians voted for it. And Californians have been waiting a long time for this train. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy calling it a boondoggle. Here he is earlier today.
Boondoggle? What the hell kind of word is that?
16 years and $15 billion.
16 years, 15 billion to not lay one. Nah, bro, that's a literal scam. This is what the Democrats have been doing, just scamming y'all, taking y'all money and federal money. Yeah.
In California high-speed rail to not lay one track. Are you kidding me? That's the American legacy right now. We can spend a lot of money and take a lot of time and not build projects.
The decision comes after a months-long federal review of the project, originally approved by California voters back in 2008. The state's high-speed rail line was initially supposed to connect Los Angeles and San Francisco with an original completion date set for 2020. But years of delays and cost overruns have plagued the proposed bullet train. And while some infrastructure has been built, rail has yet to be laid down, with the latest focus now on completing a 171-mile section of line between the Central Valley cities of Merced and Bakersfield. Meanwhile, the estimated cost of the total project connecting LA to San Francisco has ballooned to around $135 billion, according to federal figures. More than $100 billion over the initially proposed cost of $33 billion. California Governor Gavin Newsom called the move to take away the promised federal funds illegal and said the state would fight.
Brother, What does 16 years mean to you? Huh? Technically 18, because like I said, we're in 2026. What does that mean to you, Gavin Newsom? You're still scamming? And what you gonna do? You gonna probably try to sue, huh? Because it's illegal. But you haven't got anything done. Where's all this money? What happened to the money for the homeless? Where's all this money going? Where's about the money for the wildfires that happened to all those people who lost their homes? Yeah.
In a statement, Newsom said Trump wants to hand China the future and abandon the Central Valley. We won't let him. And while the loss of federal funding is a big blow to the project, the majority of the funds are still coming from the state. Meanwhile, the CEO of the project is looking for a public-private partnership as California continues to try to push ahead. Back to you.
Push ahead of what?
Max, thanks so much. Dagan, before we pivot, I want your reaction. My favorite quote was when the New York Times did a full investigation, and the French company that tried to do this was like, actually, never mind. We're going to go to Africa because Africa is less politically dysfunctional than California. And that bullet train in Africa is done under budget.
California. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all voted for this. Y'all voted for these nasty people who are in office right now. Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom. This man trying to run for president. Please, brother, stop doing interviews. Get off a podcast. Run your state better. Golly, these politicians are trash.
I love that.
There's a high-speed train in Florida that runs from Miami to Orlando that got done in a lickety-split compared to California. They can waste all the money they want to. They can be the political and financial disasters as long as it's Californians' money. Yeah. It's the fact that they were doling out, particularly under the Biden administration, just doling out billions of dollars to this just fiasco.
And he's so unctuous,
chaps my ass.
And think if Kamala would have won. Think if Kamala would have won. They would have been out here sacrificing all of y'all money. Still trying to build something that was never going to get built. Who's getting this money? Who's getting this money? Because somebody's winning. A couple people. A lot of people. Some of these politicians are just jacking y'all. Like it's New Jack City. If y'all ain't seen that movie, please go watch that movie. Great movie. Lovely movie. We love that movie. This is disgusting. Please vote red. Because they're just going to keep scamming y'all. Talking about Trump is doing illegal things. He's taking things from you. He's sending immigrants to jail, to concentration camps. Stop. Illegals. We're taking y'all back home when y'all deserve to be home. And if you self-deport, you can get $1,000 and a free ride. And you can come back here the legal way. Man, y'all tripping out here. Alright, go down to the comment section. Tell me how you felt about the video. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. This is Big Fish. Peace.